So this is the DLink DIR655 Extreme N Gigabit router. This is, in my opinion, the best single band router that you can get for the money. Single band is something new that's coming out with the wireless in, and this is a wireless in router. It's also backwards compatible with wireless B and G. Single band means it's on the same bandwidth as the B and G routers at 2.4 gigahertz, and it doesn't use the 5.8 gigahertz that is also available on the dual band routers. But I don't really think most people need that. It's kind of an overkill for a lot of home networks, and using just the one band on the wireless end really brings the price point down to a great level, and this is definitely the best router that you can get. It has a lot of features. A lot of them are fairly technical, so I'll save those for a minute, but for those of you who don't really care, you should know up front that this is the fastest router available. It's got faster chips in it, so it transfers the information to and from the computers faster, which makes it capable of sorting through your high definition, your voice over IP phone, and your streaming videos, and things like that much more quickly than other routers, which means you have better connections, less frame drop when you're watching video, voice sounds better, things like that. So that's what makes this such a great router. Onto the technical details. Like most routers, this has a built-in switch. This is a Gigabit switch, so it does work with Gigabit wired networking, which is important to me because that's what I use at my home in addition to wireless in. So I thought that was great that I don't have to buy a separate Gigabit switch. It has 4 Gigabit ports here. The internet's over here. It's also a Gigabit port, so you can also use this to connect 2 Gigabit networks together. Has a USB port here. Originally that was just for configuration, but the new firmware on their website, go download it, allows you to use that to share a printer or to share a external hard drive, kind of like a NAS, but only one network user can access it at a time. So that's pretty neat. And some of the other features that are important is the fact that it has quality of service switching, which is very, very good to have, and it really kind of assigns a priority to all of the traffic going across the internet and across your computer networks, which is great. Microsoft XP and Vista both have QOS engines in them, and this synchronizes that perfectly. And unlike a lot of routers, this will also prioritize wireless traffic, which is really where you need it the most. I also think this is a great router. It's almost as good as the gaming routers, which generally cost a lot more because it has customizable quality of service. So if you want to log into your PlayStation or your Xbox, and then go into your router, you can see what IP it has and assign a higher priority to that traffic, so you no longer get completely owned when you're playing Halo 3 because you're dropping frames over Xbox Live. You can say, well, I want the Xbox to have higher priority than the internet traffic, and then I want my voice over IP phone to have the highest priority so I don't miss any phone calls. So you can really set it up. I'll show you some screenshots of that. It's really a great intuitive user menu system. It's a lot better than any menus I've seen. It's in-depth, but it's also simple and self-explanatory, which is great. This actually does come with a wizard setup CD, but you don't really need it. I didn't use it at all. All you have to do is plug in your cords, plug in your internet, in the one labeled internet, plug in your computers, in the one that's labeled LAN, turn on your wireless networks and tell it where the router is, and then it tells on the back what the default login information is, and you can just set it up from menus there. I was up and running in less than 3 minutes. You might also notice that this is a triple antenna router. Has multiple in, multiple out, and they do recommend you kind of turn these around in different directions, kind of like that if you're standing on its side, or like this if you're keeping it flat, and that helps it to get a broader range of throughput. And I really do think this is a great router. It has been tested to show more throughput than any other router in the single band. It puts in higher traffic on wireless and wired. It has more concurrent sessions. It basically owns everything in all of the categories that you can review a router on. So if you're having trouble with your network, which I was having a lot of trouble before I bought this, go out and buy the best router you can. You'll be glad you did, and it'll save you from having to upgrade in the future. This is the DIR655 Extreme N Gigabit router, and it's great.